So speaking of interesting, Corey Graves done fucked up again. The man has 3 children that he does not see. An ex-wife that he's going to be paying alimony to. And a new girlfriend that is there, I guess?
Oh, I was about to spell out soft, but okay.
No, that's Corey Graves whenever he sees her. Oh! Ooh!
Oh, the setup in the dunk was sick.
That's not just a dunk. That's Shaq circa 94 breaking the goddamn rim. Hard dunk. It's all over the place. Orlando has never seen such destruction before. So he decided, Marcus, to insult Mauro Ranello on Twitter. Now, as someone who's insulted Mauro Ranello on Twitter before, I can tell you it's therapeutic. I know you are a Ranello fan. As an Italian, I feel I should rep my people. But I find Ranello to be so unbearable. But then again, I also think Ian Riccaboni, another of my clan, to be also completely unbearable. And it's the goddamn pop culture references that I cannot stand.
Yeah.
It dates the product, in my opinion. Well,
You know what
yes.
I get it. Like real quick, like with Ronaldo, I like Morrow, I really do, but even for me, the constant pop culture references can be a bit excessive because it goes from like he really keeps up with everything. Then it's like okay, that was smart, and then it's like did this moment even need a pop culture reference, or this character even need a pop culture reference? 'Cause then it's like, okay, now you're just doing it just because now you're just showing off unnecessarily. And it's kind of again unnecessary. So I get it. I get it. I'm not watching Ring of Honor, so Enrique Bonnet might as well be Bullet Ray at this point.
I've never seen them in the same place at the same time. He might very well be. I don't know that Ranello said this, but I guarantee you there's a point in Saturday's show where Kevin Owens hit somebody and Ranello went, just like Anthony Joshua being taken down by Ruiz. What? Why? Why? Why did you make that reference? Why? Like Dale Torborg of the WCW. Like, why are you making these references, Ranello? Why?
Like Thanos, such and such is gonna get his Infinity Gems.
Not since Barney Stinson have I seen someone get so royally fucked. Like, what? What? I don't think. What you can't swear like that. 2, why are you referencing How I Met Your Mother? Stop it, Ranello. But here's the difference. I'm not a colleague of Ranello's. I don't know him. I'm a critic. I'm allowed to critique him. But I'm also going to just critique him. I don't have any ill will towards the man. I hope he's well. I hope he's fine. I believe he has a wife and children. I hope they're well, and I hope they're fine. I have no ill will for Mauro Ranello. And if he was a colleague of mine, I would address him privately because I would still critique him, but I would do it in a way that's respectful and without needing to embarrass him. Corey Graves, on the other hand, is the biggest shill for himself I've ever seen. He's a punk. Now listen, I am a legitimate punk. I like the lifestyle. I like the aesthetic. I like the music. I like the counterculture. I like the in-your-face aggression. I like the damn the man save the empire punk rock music. Yeah! But Corey Graves loves him some corporation goodness. He's all about that big corporate lifestyle, all about that big corporate paycheck. He is a corporate shill. He cannot be trusted. He is, as we say in the community, a sellout. We don't have exclusive rights to that word. We know, you know, we all know. So when he decides to go all punk rock, it seems disingenuous. And for some reason, he decided the hill to die on over the weekend was burying his colleague by saying to the effect, you wouldn't know that Beth Phoenix and Nigel McGuinness were on commentary with Mauro Ranallo because he was talking so much. Here's the thing, though. He's supposed to be talking a lot. He's the play-by-play guy. Unlike Corey Graves, who's the color commentator for his staff, the play-by-play guy is supposed to be the one who talks the most. Corey Graves does not agree because it's not about Corey Graves. So he doesn't like it. So he dogged him. Ranallo deleted his Twitter account. Dave Meltzer called him out on his podcast. Then Corey Graves started to say, Dave, you have my number. And I don't know if he did this ironically, Marcus, but I swear to God, if he didn't, this is the most delicious thing of the weekend. He then says, Dave, you have my number. You could have called me and talked to me privately. Do you want to know what every comment in that Twitter feed now says? Oh, you mean like the way you didn't treat Mauro Ranallo, Corey Graves? And I'm just thinking to myself, sometimes I love the internet. Like I seriously hate the internet. Like if it wasn't for the fact that I met some great friends because of it, I would fuck it. But I met some great friends. I met you. I met Zach, Andrew, Swish. But you know what? Fuck the internet. But tonight I can say I officially love the internet. Cause fuck Corey Graves. Marcus, Corey Graves attacked a colleague. How do you feel about that?
He's crap. Like when he first came, and obviously he's gotten high praise and stuff from Paul Heyman, and deservedly so. He has done, really good at points, but I also think a lot of times why he shined early on in hindsight is because everything around him was kind of mundane and ass, and no shot at Michael Cole because at this point he knows his role and he does it well. He's had it for however long, but Cole was stale, monotonous, repetitive. And it just it needed a new flavor, and he came in and he delivered that. And he was delivering that in an unbiased fashion without the corporate bias that he seems to have now. Very much seems like in the use a more older reference from a generation, it seems now like he's fully smelling himself, if you will, or buying into his own hype. And it's funny enough he's talking about Mauro Ranallo because, like you said, he's the play-by-play guy. He's supposed to be talking a lot. Unlike the audiences in which Corey Graves commentates in front of, when Mauro's out there, he's actually over with those crowds. And I can know this because half the time when big moves pop off in a match, the damn crowd is saying "Mamma Mia," and we know that's a Mauro Ranallo thing. So, yeah, that's funny, and I was expecting him to have a reply to those fans like, "Well, I don't have his number," as if that's an excuse. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it feels like he's feeling himself, and did the old tweet and delete type deal, and it's funny how the narrative just in wrestling, getting off Graves for a moment, has turned to, again, I'm still waiting on those fans to completely shut Meltzer out after that little scuttle he got into. Now it seems like he's like the voice of reason for calling people out now.
Mm-hmm.
And him and some others like Sean Ross Sapp maybe, and some other guys I see. But yeah, it's weird. But him, Rollins, they bought into their own hype, man. And I guess whatever they're getting paid, it's enough to down those hills. When you got a nice hot girlfriend, where both of them have nice hot evenly tanned women with colorful hair that they go home to every night, and paychecks to kind of match their bravado. So I get it, but he still sucks.
I'm gonna disavow the comment of hot because I think they're fours. But to each their own. We all are allowed our own predilections and attachments. They would just not be mine. At all. Ever. But Chad, if one of them came up to you, no, bitch, you don't know the type of trim I can pull. I mean, it's not that impressive. Yeah, it's not Kate Upton. But I don't go without.
I love how we just use auto. I love how we just using the auto throwback. You don't know what kind of trim I can put. Kind of trim. Trim? What is he? I
We're,
didn't ask you to get a haircut, doofus. It's so dumb.
we're getting ready for 80s impact, so we have to go back to dated references.
We're practicing, yeah. But speaking of your preferences, quick shout out to Alicia Fox.
Foxy.
Um, I don't know if you saw this, but she I think did an Instagram post talking about her journey to through sobriety and her challenges and stuff, and kind of just opened a social media forum for others to kind of come forth and talk about their struggles as well. So I think she's sober for a certain amount of time now, and it's good to hear that, because whether she's in the ring or not, her health is no priority, and it sucks to know that some of those things we heard might have been true, but it's really good to hear that she's getting on the other side of that. So
Yeah, I'm all for a clean Foxy. And I'm also like, and here's the thing, Powerbomb Jitsu, I love those cats. They bring up a good point. When it comes to a guy like Joey Mercury or ACH, they get dogged on for their mental health. I think ACH brings it on himself because of his combative personality. Morrow seems like a kicked puppy, so we all rally to him. But ACH is very combative with his mental health, so he comes across as less, what's the word I'm looking for, sympathetic. But you do have to understand that these are still all human beings, and having some empathy for them is not a negative thing to have. So
yeah,
I'm all for Foxy getting herself on the right track. But
yeah, and it's
no.
yeah. Go ahead.
Finish your thought. 'Cause I was going to change topics. Finish your thought.
Yeah, no, and it's weird too, and then sometimes we end up having to be the guys that kind of play the middle or the devil's advocate, because we've seen these kind of tides turn to where obviously we've seen this with the Me Too movement, and how very shitty individuals have kind of taken these things and used them to their own advantages, where the concept of throwing a stone and hiding their hand applies in the way of people who are just shitty individuals like to use the mental health excuse after the fact to kind of ride away. So you kind of have to take, instead of believing all people who cry, um, I guess like with a mental health thing, you kind of have to take it case by case basis, because you just can't be sure. Because it is a lot of times like somebody like a Corey Graves who has had douchey behavior before and not attached it to any mental stigma, comes and continues that douchey behavior for a time, and then now maybe wants to do it because it's convenient to now, or it's the trend. But specifically against somebody like Mauro Ranallo, who we know legitimately suffers from something like that. Um, and maybe this was a case of not necessarily him going at him for a mental stigma thing or going at him because he had it, but just him, I guess, being annoyed that he was talking a lot, which again also not doesn't make sense, because like you said, he is the lead play-by-play guy. That's why they have him there. If he wasn't good at it, we wouldn't even see him.
And
So
you
yeah.
are what I could only imagine as the volley person in volleyball, whatever that position is. Because I'm about to spike it down off that reference, because when Corey Graves made that insult, one of the 5 people in the world you don't want to respond to your tweet responded to your tweet. When I say one of the 5 greatest mixed martial artists of all time, he's in the top 3. And he's deadly. And he's angry. And you pissed him off. Corey Graves got a tweet from Frank Shamrock, the brother of Ken Shamrock. And as great of a name of Ken Shamrock was for MMA, Frank was even better. And he's good friends with Mauro Ranallo. And now Frank Shamrock wants to have a conversation with Corey Graves. Keep in mind, Marcus, Corey Graves cannot be slapped in the head for fear of brain trauma. And he just pissed off one of the 5 most deadly fighters of the last 25 years. Corey, call your children and say goodbye. Like, you fucked up, kid. Like, Brock Lesnar, Frank Shamrock, and, like, That's it. Like, those two dudes reply to your tweet. You apologize, or you get ready to die. I don't know why you would be dumb enough to go after a dude who's good friends with Frank Shamrock. Like, do you actually think you could take him? You couldn't take Phil Brooks. Be real. And I love that now that CM Punk's back with the company. Corey Graves is like, I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's back in wrestling. He seems happy. Because he's afraid that Phil's going to come a-looking. Because like I said, Corey Graves can't take a slap to the head. And you might want to dog on CM Punk's UFC MMA ability, but that's like dogging on someone trying to play quarterback in the Super Bowl. There's like 0.9% of people in the world who could even hang in there, and Punk was able to at least get in the door. He's been training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for years. I think his attempt was admirable, and I think he could wipe the floor with Corey Graves. Because, again, as I said before, Corey Graves can't take a slap to the head, let alone a punch.
Yeah, and again, I don't know. And some people are, I guess, just naive. I was about to say outright dumb, and maybe that is the right term to use. But for some reason, they think just because somebody goes inside a cage and loses, that somehow translates to them being a shitty stand-up fighter in a street fight. For whatever reason, he can't throw hands. He lost in it. He got dog walked in the MMA. I'm like, okay, all right.
Come a knocking and find out. Come a knocking and find out. So I love that Frank Shamrock is letting Corey Graves know that he's got his eyes on him. Now Corey Graves isn't going to admit he's scared publicly because that would hurt his image. But I guarantee he's all like, goddamn, what did I do? I'm very surprised that Corey Graves decided that he wanted to go after Dave Meltzer, who Brian Alvarez dragged Corey Graves so hard it's not even funny. But this dude decides to go after Dave Meltzer instead of just apologizing to Mauro and Al. And like that's the thing. That's like the sign of a true douche. You know, when that whole Seth Rollins thing happened like a few weeks ago with Meltzer where he got wrong information, Meltzer apologized and said, Seth, I'm sorry. And I applaud Meltzer for being able to stand up and say that. But you look at someone like Corey Graves, he doesn't even care about his actions. He has no remorse. He has no sympathy. He's just a giant dingbat. He's a douche. He's got a douche haircut, douche tattoos, a douche girlfriend, a douche persona. That dude is a walking cleaning unit for minor orifices. Like, he's a pathetic piece of trash. And I cannot wait for the day where someone decides to smack him in the face with a sledgehammer. Just give him a little kiss with that stone. It's all I really want in this world. Just let him know that it's not all right to keep being a giant turd. Let him kiss that sledgehammer just once. Just once. So, I'm not advocating for you to kill Corey Graves, but just let him know that he should be spending more time, being a parent than he does talking shit on Twitter. And think about this. The dude, he has got 3 kids. What kind of message does that send to your children? Oh, you can bully people if they have mental health issues? That's a kind of fucked up thing to do, right? I don't know. Corey Graves is a piece of shit. His wife has to be happy with everything because she doesn't have to deal with his ass anymore.